What's going on, y'all? I'm sorry about that. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. I know I'm not the fabulous Stephen Nagy, but Stephen here, he's actually down a little bit South Florida. He's with Chris, and then my dad is Brent Kessler. So he's down there this evening. So I'm going to be taking over for him. So anyways, like I said, Stephen couldn't be here, so you get the fabulous me this evening. But again, we do these every single week. So every single week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Pacific time, we meet here and we talk about infinite banking. So anyways, so who am I? So my name's Hannah Kessler. How I got into all of this is my father. His name is Brent Kessler. And Brent, he's the owner of the Money Multiplier. And, our background right here, I'm talking to y'all. We live down in Daytona Beach, Florida. And really what brought us down here to Florida, because originally I did school up in Kansas City, and dad had some chiropractic offices up there in the Kansas City area. And really what brought us down here to Florida is this airplane community. So actually that's where I'm talking to y'all tonight from, is that we have an office out here, and it's an old Air Force base. So it's an old Air Force base that they actually created into a living community. And a lot of the aviation enthusiasts, they like to come down here because there's hangar homes down here. So what that means is that you have an airplane hangar attached to your house. Hangar homes, right? So that's really what brought us down to Florida. Mom and dad, they came down in 2017, and then I quickly followed them in 2018. And I'll say that every single day, that's the best decision I've ever made in my life, is coming down here to Florida and making that move. So anyway, just a little bit about me. So the name of our company is called the Money Multiplier. So the Money Multiplier, and you can see my contact info down there on the screen, my email, phone number, and our website there. And really what I'm going to be talking about with y'all is a concept. It's a process. It's not the conventional way that we've been taught to handle our wealth and our money. So this is a total paradigm shift, totally outside of the box thinking. And here's the idea, y'all. I know you guys are really great at making money, but here's the catch. Y'all aren't too great at keeping that money. So if I can do nothing more but just show you how to keep more of that wealth that you're already making, it's a pretty cool day, is it not? So that's what we're going to go over. Is I want to show you a concept and a process that I don't want you to change anything that you're doing already in your life. All you're going to do is add this one additional step into your financial life. And what that means, I'm not having you work any harder, take any additional risk, lose control of your money. You're just adding this one additional step, how to be in control of that wealth. That's the number one key. Who is in control of your money? And we'll walk through that here today. And so actually, before I even get done today, I'm going to show you how to get all the money back for all the cars that you're buying today. And so what that means, right? Because I don't care how old you are, but up to this point in your life, when you went and bought your cars, you took your money. Let's pretend this is a $20,000 bill. You took your $20,000 bill, you go give it over to the car salesman. That car salesman then now has his money. You get the car and the transaction is done. Everybody walks away, right? But how I buy my cars is that I take my 20,000, I go give it to the car salesman guy. And now I have a system to recapture and recycle all of that money back for that car purchase that I just went out and bought. So again, before we get done today, I'm going to show you the method of how I buy my cars. And just a little fun fact about me, I love going camping. I love going to music festivals. So actually, this is a concept that I implemented to go out and buy my conversion van. Have y'all seen those? Those things are pretty cool, right? Yeah, if you've ever seen those Mercedes Sprinter vans where folks will convert the back out of it, that's what I have. And how I'm financing this thing is through my banking system. So I'm going to be going through that here today before we get done. So anyway, so who am I, right? So I'm Hannah Kessler, and we're the Money Multiplier. So I got into this because of my father, dad, and actually how my family was really was introduced to this concept was dad was a chiropractor. All right. So this was not our background whatsoever. Dad was a chiropractor. And at that time, he was sitting in the audience, just like how all y'all are right now. And so back in 2006, dad went to a chiropractic conference, and he was sitting in the audience and he heard this information and he thought to himself, wow, man, that looks really good, but that just looks too good to be true. Have you all ever heard about that? Right? Something just looks too good to be true. So what dad did is he bought Nelson's book. I'll talk about Nelson here in a second. Right? So he bought Nelson's book. He went back home. He put it on the shelf and he didn't do anything with it. Then 2 years later, he went back to the same chiropractic conference, and he was met by all of his colleagues and his friends and his coworkers, and they were hooting and hollering about this banking concept. Hey, Brent, isn't this so cool? I can pay for my employees' overhead, pay for my overhead expenses in the office, like my rent, pay for my equipment, those adjustment tables, the therapy equipment that I need, and I'm keeping all of that money within myself. Isn't that pretty cool? And so they were all hooting and hollering about this. And dad was like, man, I heard that, and I should have taken a second look at that information, and I just didn't. So it wasn't until my family first started this until 2008. And back at that time, my family was in almost $1 million in debt. Actually, dad's got it nailed down to the penny. It's $974,911 of debt that we were in. And how do we accumulate all that? Dad was a chiropractor. He had several clinics in the Kansas City area. He's an aviation enthusiast. So if you're a pilot, you got to have your own airplane, right? And on top of that, we have a condo in the Lake of the Ozarks, right in between Kansas City and St. Louis. And if you have a condo on the lake, you got to have a boat and a wave runner, right? So it didn't take our family a lot to get in almost that $1 million of debt. So by implementing this concept, he was able to pay all of that debt off in 3 years and 3 months, 39 months. And so actually, before I get done here today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this system to pay off debt. Now, I'm not using dad's example because if I were to do that, it would just take way too long. But I have another real life chiropractic friend that I'm going to be showing you. So, and then you see the other gentleman down there. That is Mr. R. Nelson Nash. So this is the guy that really brought this concept to the public's eye. He is the guy that wrote this book, Becoming Your Own Banker. Becoming Your Own Banker. I highly, highly recommend you add this book to your wealth building library. This completely changed my family's financial life. And just like how I'm sitting here talking with y'all today, I'll be honest, I'm young. I'm 22 years old. Right? At 22 years old, I was able to implement this concept, and I own my house. I own that conversion van that I was just talking about. And now I'm almost in the process to go out and buy another vehicle with this concept. No way would I ever have thought that at my age, I would be able to be doing this stuff. And it all comes from this information here in this black book, Becoming Your Own Banker. So I give you that resource because I just want you to know where this information is coming from. And as well. If you have a little ADD like myself going on, there's also 2 hours of audio that you can purchase as well, and just listen to the book too. So go on our website. You can email me or go on Amazon, because to be honest, I'm not really in the book selling business. So go out there, go purchase the book. And I just want you to know where the information is coming from. So Mr. R. Nelson Nash, always got to give credit to him. And now there is another book. This other book, it's a book that my dad, Brent, and Chris Noggle wrote together. Y'all know Chris Noggle. That's why we're here today. But they wrote this book. It's called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And this book, this is kind of a spin-off of what Nelson Nash talks about in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. So my gift to y'all, if you want this book, email me. I'll give you my email here later on this evening. I also posted it on the first slide. But if you email me, hannah@themoneymultiplier.com, I will send you a copy of this free ebook right here. Okay. So, and please, when I go through this information with y'all tonight, write your questions down. All right. I would not suggest you put them in the chat just because it may get lost in the communication that comes through there, but write your questions down. I'll stay on here. I'll give you my own personal cell phone number so we can talk more in depth, so write those questions down, because my father always taught me a short pencil is better than a long memory. So write those questions down and we'll get through it. All right, well, let's hop into it. What are we going to be talking about tonight? Hopefully I put my sound through and y'all could hear that. But anyways, it's money. Money is what we're going to be talking about tonight. So before we go forward, for the discussion of our call, we have to agree on a definition of money. So when Dad and I, we travel all around the country and we teach this concept. When we're out there and we're teaching it live, we get a lot of good answers in the audience, right? What is the definition of money? And I hear back all these good answers. But you know what? The definition of money is it's nothing more than a means of exchange, is it not? All we do all day long is exchange our money for the goods and services and the products that we're out there buying in life, right? So that is our definition of money as we get through this today. So I'm not going to play this video right now just because of time today. I want to get through my 2 examples for y'all, but here's some homework for you. Go onto YouTube and look up the backwards bicycle. Backwards bicycle, and it's on YouTube, and it's a 7.5-minute video, and this will really get your mind geared into being open, receptive of this information. Because like I said, y'all, this is an out of the box, unconventional way of what we've been taught about our money. So this video really gets your mind geared into being open and thinking about that stuff. So let me just play a few seconds of it so when you go on YouTube, the backwards bicycle, and you find this video that you're on the correct video.
Hey, it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day. You've heard people say,
all right. So anyways, there's a guy by the name of Will Rogers. Will Rogers says the problem in America isn't so much what people don't know, it's what people think they know that just ain't so. So again, a lot of the stuff that we've been taught about money and wealth may not actually be the truth. So again, keep an open mind as I go through this. Write your questions down. I promise to answer all of them, because I promise you, this is totally something different than what your parents are doing, your friends are doing, your colleagues are doing. So write your questions down and I will 100% answer them before we get done with this call today. So what we're going to be talking about, how does our money flow, and the method to get all of our money back. So just like how I said, before we end this call today, I'm going to show you how to get all the money back for all the cars you've ever bought, driven, and owned for you and your family. So we'll get into that. What are we going to go over? The mysteries of money. The machine. What is the machine that we're going to be using to build our wealth? The mission and the marathon. Y'all, this is not a get rich quick. This is a marathon. This is a lifestyle change. This is something that you're going to be implementing, adding that additional step to your financial life. It's a marathon. The millionaire and then the movement. All right, so let's hop into it. And Mr. Ricky, I see you up there. I see you raising your hand. I'll get to you here in a second when we're done here today. Let's hop into it. You see 3 calculators up here on your screen. Let's make believe that you are in the market and you want to go buy a car. And at the time that we're talking right now, let's make believe that you have $25,000 sitting at your local bank account. And at your local bank account, let's say that they're paying you 4% interest. Now I know no local bank right now is paying you 4% interest, but there's a method to my madness. I don't want you to get hung up in the numbers. I just want you to get the concept here. So down at the local bank, I have $25,000 sitting in my savings account and it's earning me 4% interest. I walk down to the bank and I say, "Hey, Banker Hannah, I want to take out that $25,000 in my savings account and I want to go pay cash for the car." And y'all kind of bump up your chest like this. You say cash for the car, right? And why is the reason we want to pay cash for that car? Well, I don't want any payments and I don't want to pay any interest, right? Well, okay, we'll talk about that more in a second. I would research what's called the opportunity cost of $1. Just a little tidbit for y'all. So anyways, you come to me and you say, "Hannah, I want to go take out that $25,000 that's sitting in my savings account and I want to go pay cash for my car." And I tell you, no. Instead, let me make you a loan for $25,000. So now let's think about that. If I get a loan for $25,000, how long is it going to take me to pay off that loan in the conventional sense with a conventional bank? And when we're out there teaching this live, I get good answers: 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Let's use 5 years. 5 years or 60 months, okay? So it's going to take me 5 years or 60 months to pay off this loan. So, hey, Hannah, I'll give you a loan for $25,000 and I'm going to charge you 6% interest. And with that loan, you're going to be paying this loan back for 5 years or for 60 months. But here's the thing. If you take out this loan for $25,000 at 6% over 60 months, over the same equal time span, our bank will pay you more money on the 4% that you're earning than you will pay us on the 6% that you're borrowing. In other words, is this true? Can I make money by earning 4% at the same time I'm paying 6%? Well, my simple mind is going, well, no, right? Because if I'm earning 4 and I'm paying 6, I'm losing 2, right? 6 minus 4 equals 2. Well, no. The banker told you the truth, and let's walk through the math behind it together. So if you were to take a loan out at $25,000, 6% interest, your monthly payment would be $483.32 a month. Take that $483.32, multiply it by the 60 months. That means that you just paid $25,000 for the car and about $4,000 in interest for a total of $28,999 that you see right here on the screen. While over in my savings account, over the same equal time span, my $25,000 earning me 4% over the 60 months. Inside of my savings account, I have $30,525. So here's my question to y'all. Is this number $30,525? Is that a larger number than the $28,999 Or do y'all just do math differently than what I do down here in Florida? Right? It's a larger number. So what's going on here, right? Because I thought, hey, if I pay 6 and I earn 4, I'm losing 2. But what's going on? So the banker told you the truth. Each and every month, when you're paying down this loan balance, this is on a decreasing scale. This is going down each and every month. We're over here in your savings account. This is on an increasing balance. This is going up each and every month. So one's going down, the other one's going up, but our minds are not programmed to think that way. So with this simple short exercise here, I just wanted to prove to you that you can make money all day long earning 4 at the same time you're paying 6. And I want to drive that one home because this is important. So let's talk next. What is the machine? What is the machine that we're going to be using to build our wealth? Well, the machine that we're using is a whole life insurance policy with a mutual company that pays dividends. Now, before all of y'all shut off your computer, run out of the room, and you vomit on me, I get it. You're thinking to yourself, Hannah, I know everything that there is to know about whole life insurance in the world. I know everything that there is to know about it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Or you wouldn't be sitting here on this call and following Mr. Noggle and Nagy all the time, right? No, you don't. Because what's going on is that this is a specifically engineered whole life policy designed for high cash value banking. So here's my question. Why do we want to do this? Who in the world is even buying these stupid whole life policies? Well, go look it up. Banks. Banks are the #1 purchasers of whole life insurance in the world. And matter of fact, they've even quadrupled the amount of portfolio that they own in whole life insurance since 2013. And why? Why are banks owning and buying all of these whole life policies, right? Well, is it because they're stupid? Or do they know something that the rest of us just don't know about, right? They probably know something. And go fact check me, y'all. Go research something called BOLI, BOLI. It stands for Bank Owned Life Insurance. And you can look up the hundreds of pages that come up of how much banks own in whole life insurance. Right? So that's just what we're doing over here is we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just mimicking and imitating exactly what the super elite and super wealthy are doing. So to take it back full circle, why was my 4% and my 6% important? Let's go back. Because inside of my whole life insurance contract, I get a guaranteed 4%. I get a guaranteed 4% that the company has to give me each and every year. Where on when I want to take out dollars and when I want to take out a loan from my policy, the largest interest rate the insurance company will ever charge me is 6%. So here I say it again. Can we make money all day by earning 4 and paying 6? Absolutely. And again, I want to drive this thing home with y'all. So that's why my 4% and my 6% are important. I get my guaranteed growth inside of the policy, and the largest interest rate that the insurance company will charge me is 6% to take out that loan. So now let's keep moving forward, right? Let's dive deeper into money. So again, we kind of talked about it. What is the definition of money? Well, money is nothing more than a means of exchange, is it not? I exchange money for food, food for car, car for money, money for car, house for money, money for house, right? I'm just exchanging it for the products and services all day long. And the purpose of money, what is the purpose of our money, right? purpose of our money is just to go out and buy the things we need in life or want in life, right? I need to go buy my groceries. I need to go pay my house mortgage. I want to go on vacation. I want to go buy that airline ticket, right? The purpose of money is nothing more than just that means of exchange to buy the products and services that I need and want out of life. So let's take it a step deeper. Who in here believes in compound interest? Right? Most of our hands go up. Everybody in here believes in compound interest, right? Let's talk about compound interest. So in order for compound interest to actually work, you have to let your money or your product sit still somewhere. So what I mean by that is, let's take my $20 bill. I go down, I take my $20, I go give it to the bank, and I say, here you go, Banker Hannah, here's my $20. And once I park that money in the bank, it earns me compound interest, right? Well, let's say that I go back in a week or even a day or even a year, right? And let's make believe this $20, okay? The reason I want to go through this is because I just want you to understand the importance of what's actually going on with your compound interest and letting your money and your product sit still. So what I mean by that is that I want you to name me one business in the world that actually uses compound interest. The first thing that comes to mind is you think of banks. Banks use compound interest. Well, let's think about that. Do banks use compound interest? No. They pay you compound interest and they charge you compound interest, but they don't actually use it themselves. And what I mean by that is, let's take that same $20, right? The same $20. I'm going to put my initials on it and I'm going to highlight this thing in yellow and I'm going to take it down to the bank. Here, Banker Hannah, here's 20 bucks. Do you think that bank takes my $20, they go back into the back and there's a little box back there that says Hannah Kessler, and they put that money in there and they hold it there until I come back and use it? No, right? Because what are they doing? They're lending it. Banks are in the lending business. Because think about it, y'all. How much money could a grocery store make if produce and the food in the back isn't moving on and off the shelves? How much money does a car salesman and a car company make if cars aren't coming on and off the lot, right? People aren't buying cars. How much do y'all in the real estate world make if people aren't moving into houses, aren't doing fix and flips or doing home remodels? Nothing, right? So no business in the world actually uses compounding interest. So don't you think it's a little strange that major institutes like banks, Wall Street, mutual funds, insurance companies, they all tell us to park our money with them, but they don't actually do it themselves? Isn't that a little strange? I just want you to start to think about what's going on in the world. Now, I like to use the analogy too. Who likes to eat fish out of a stagnant pond? Not I know that. So now, because motion is a natural law of God. So let's take it a step further, right? Who in here has an IRA or 401k? Most of us, right? Most of our hands go up. And why do we have that IRA or 401k? Well, I have this account because I'm putting money away into this account. So hopefully in the future, I can use this pot of cash to live off of my retirement, right? Well, let me ask you something. Who controls that IRA or that 401k? Is it you or somebody else? And a matter of fact, in that account, how long do you have to let that money sit there until you can even go touch it? Age 59 and a half, right? But let's think about that. Even though if you wait till age 59 and a half to go out and go take that money, you still got to pay the tax on it, do you not? You're just avoiding the 10% penalty to go put that money away to not be touched till age 59 and a half. but you still got to pay the tax on it when you go out there and go take that money out, right? And on top of that, I bet you guys have some use for that money right now. I bet there's some vacations you want to go on. I bet you need a new update on the car or a home remodel. You're doing something in your financial life that you could be using that money actively for, right? So, are there any guarantees in that retirement account? No. Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's guaranteed to never go below zero, but how exciting would that be if that actually happened? And who controls it? Is it you or somebody else? It's somebody else, is it not? And tell me everything you know about your retirement account. No. Actually, wait, you don't tell me, I'll tell you. You know one of three things. You know whether it goes up or down based on the quarterly statements that you get. You know whether it's invested in a low, moderate, or high risk category. But other than that, y'all don't know jack crap about your retirement accounts. And on top of that, you know one thing, and actually I'm getting a little rowdy over here, but you know one thing that actually pisses me off about this is that y'all are putting money inside of these retirement accounts. And what you're doing is that you're putting away good money today to be paid back with non-guaranteed weaker dollars in the future. What do I mean by that? So let's think about it. We're sitting here today in 2022. How many candy bars can you buy with $1? I mean, probably those low grade candy bars, right? I could probably buy maybe 2 Laffy Taffies with that $1 bill, right? We're back 20 years ago. How many candy bars could I buy with that $1 bill? Probably about 3 or 4 Snicker bars, right? So are dollars worth more today or in the future? They're worth more today. And taxes, are taxes going to go up or are they going to go down? Taxes are going to go up. And even if taxes aren't going to go up, aren't we taxed on more crap all the time? A matter of fact, our president today campaigned on taxes going up. So it's no secret that taxes are going to go up, right? And on top of that, when you pay tax on your money, do you want to pay tax on the small amount the seed or the large amount the harvest? Hopefully you say the seed, right? Well, I agree with all 3 of your answers, but you are totally violating them by putting your money in that qualified plan, that 401k or that IRA, because what you're doing is you're giving up good dollars today to get paid back with non-guaranteed weaker dollars in the future, where taxes are going to go up, right? Even if aren't taxes going to go up, we'll be taxed on more crap anyways. So now you're compounding the tax because all you're doing by waiting until age 59 and a half is the penalty. And then on top of that, when you go and take out the money, you're going to pay tax on the large amount the harvest. Again, just want you to get knowing and growing on what you're doing with your money right now. Let's take it a step deeper. You come to me and you say, well, Hannah, well, I get a match. I get a match for every dollar I put in there. All right, well, let's talk about that. So we agreed on this call that money is nothing more than a means of exchange, right? So let's make believe you go down to your local grocery store, you go take your money and you buy a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk. You come home. I'm sitting here, I'm in my 20s, right? Until I'm age 59 and a half, I got about 35 plus more years, right? I got about 35 plus more years. So if I come home, I buy that gallon of milk and that loaf of bread, and I go put it into the freezer, right? I'm going to go put it in the freezer because I can't touch that thing until 35 plus years from now. So 35 plus years from now, I go back in and I open up that freezer, and guess what? There's 2 loaves of bread and 2 gallons of milk. How much more exciting would that second loaf of bread taste and that second gallon of milk? It would still be freezer burnt, would it not? So again, just want you to start thinking about what you're doing with your money. So now, This is one of my favorite things. I really like teaching on how banks work. So let's talk about this. I know down here, I'm here in Florida on the East Coast. So I know it's getting a little late into the evening time. So we're going to do a little bit of math. But again, I promise to make this easy for y'all. So how does your local bank work? So you, the depositor, let's make believe that you have $100,000 that you're going to go deposit at the bank. And the bank is going to pay you 4% on your money. Now, again, I know they're not paying you 4%. I just want you to get the concept and what's going on. Again, there's a method to my madness here. So you, the depositor, you take your 100,000, you go down to the local bank, and they're going to pay you 4% on that money. Well, now the bankers, they have your 100,000 and they have to pay you that 4%. So what do? That deposit is a liability to them. So how do they turn that liability around and make it an asset? They lend it, right? Banks are in the lending business. They lend it back out to you or to other people to go buy the things that they're buying in life. So who on this call besides myself has ever gone down and got a loan to go buy a house? Most of us, right? So that bank, they're going to go make that home mortgage to that other borrower, and let's call it 7%. Again, don't get hung up on the numbers. I just want you to get the concept. So let's make so they're going to charge you 7% to go take out that home mortgage. Now, when you borrow from the bank, don't you have to pay them back and have to pay them back with interest? Absolutely, right? Because if you don't, they're going to come and foreclose on you, right? So when you take out that loan from the bank, got to pay it back, with interest. Money goes back into the bank. How about this? Who on this call besides myself has ever gone down and got a loan for a car, right? We want to go and buy that new car. I want this new Jeep Wrangler over here. That's what I want, right? So I go down to the bank. They're going to charge me 8% to take out that loan. I go buy my new car. Guess what happens? I have to pay it back, and I have to pay it back with interest, right? Because if I don't, they're going to come and repo that car right off my lot. So pay it back with interest. How about a home remodel, right? We want new granite countertops, swimming pool in the backyard, new tile in the bathrooms, right? We're doing a home remodel. Let's call that 9%. So the bank gives you a loan at 9%. What do you got to do? Have to pay it back with interest, right? I hope you can see what's going on here. A bank is doing nothing but moving money in, moving it out. Money comes in, money comes out, in, out, in, right? They're just moving the money all day long. How about lastly, credit cards, right? Let's say we want to go do a debt consolidation, go pay off all those credit cards. Let's call that 12%. Once I pay it all off, got to pay the bank back, got to pay it back with interest. Money goes back into the bank. So now, I just want to show you how well you did and how well the bankers did. Because remember, right, you're making 4% on your money. At what conventional bank are you making 4% on your money at? I don't know. So you're making 4%. So now, in this first transaction of the house, the home mortgage, the bank made 7, you made 4. 7 minus 4 equals 3. The car loan was 8%. You made 4. 8 minus 4 equals 4. How about this home remodel? The bank made 9. You made 4. 9 minus 4 equals 5, right? And lastly, let's talk about those credit cards and those debt consolidation. The bank made 12%. You made 4. 12 minus 4 equals 8. So if we add up all of those numbers, the bank made 20%, you made 4%. How much more did the bank make than you? Well, you're sitting here thinking to yourself, well, 16%, Hannah, right? 20 minus 4 equals 16%. Well, no. How about 500% more. Because doesn't 4 go into 25 times? Banks are making no less than 400 to 1300% annually on the money that you leave there with them. And go fact check me, y'all. Go look this stuff up. It's not magic. It's not stuff that I'm making up over here. Go to BauerFinancial.com, BAUER, BauerFinancial.com, and you can look up the big banks that we all know the names of or the small hometown banks, and you can go and find their annual report. And I challenge you, go out there and I challenge you, find me a bank that makes less than 400% annually on the money that we leave there with them. And then you owe it to me. You owe it to me to call me up and tell me, because now I got to change my presentation. But let me tell you something. Dad and I have been traveling around the world, excuse me, not around the world, around the country for the last decade plus now. I've done this presentation over and over, and there has been nobody that's come to me to tell me that there is a bank out there making less than 400% annually. So I challenge you. I know y'all are smart individuals. I challenge y'all to go find me that bank. So now, again, it kind of makes sense if you think about it, right? Because banks, I don't care where you're at. You can be in our town out here in Daytona Beach, Florida. You can be where Chris is at in Buffalo, New York, or you can be on the West Coast. Let's go LA, California area, right? I don't care where you're at. And each individual town, when you come to the main intersection in town, there's 4 corners on that intersection, right? And what is on one of those corners? No, it's not Starbucks. That's not the answer I was looking for. A bank, right? It's a bank. And our banks, are they on the bad architecture, the rundown landscaping, or are they on the bad property in town? Not at all, right? Usually they're the nicest buildings in town. Who's paying for all of that? We are. We, the depositors, are paying for all of that. Because think about it. Excuse me. How much risk did this bank take in doing all of the transactions here? The house transaction, the car transaction. Not a lot, right? Because whose money are they using? They're using your money. They're using your money and lending it out to other people and making higher interest on your money. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. There's actually a bank in our town where on a certain day of the week, if you go there, they'll give you wine. On a certain day of the week, if you go in there, they'll give you wine. And that's why Chris and Steve and Nagy couldn't be on this call this evening, because they're a little too hungover and drunk today to make it on. Oh, I'm just playing. But anyways, right? I mean, it just kind of makes sense. Banks are using our money to go lend it out to us or to other people and are making a really good living off of it. So here's what I'm saying, y'all. You guys are doing this in your life anyways, right? You're buying houses, you're buying cars, you're doing home remodels, and you're using credit cards. How about you be the banker in your own life? You make that 500% on yourself instead of having the bankers make it on you. And like I said, I'll get more into it as we get through this today. So again, BauerFinancial.com, BAUER, BauerFinancial.com. Go look up those annual reports. I'm not going to go over this tonight just because of time today, but this is a really cool example as well. It's called the annual pattern of spending. When I get done here, I will show you how you can go back and watch that. Okay, so I'll show you how you can go back and watch the recorded version of it. But I kind of want to get into the fun stuff. Let's kind of get into the fun stuff and talk about this. So now I want to show you how to get all the money back for all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for you and your family for the rest of your life, right? Because again, I don't care how old you are. You can be in your 20s like me. You can be 70, 80, 90 years old. How much money back do you have for all of those cars you bought, driven, and owned up to this point? I'll give you a hint. 0, right? So if I can do nothing more but just show you how to get all the cars back, or all the money that you bought for those cars. It's been a pretty good day, is it not? So, okay, the machine. Let's refresh the minor, right? What is the machine? The machine that we're using is a specifically engineered whole life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends. So it's specifically designed for this banking concept, right? So when you have a whole life policy, there's premiums, right? There's premium deposits. So here's where that mindset shift starts to play at, right? These are premium deposits. They are deposits that you are putting into your banking system, right? So there are premiums that are going in. This is not a payment. Again, the mindset shift. This is not a payment, because if I have this money and it goes into an account that I own, I control, and I have immediate cash value access to it, is it determined more as a payment or a deposit? Deposit, right? And which word do you like better, payment or deposit? Deposit. All right. So now, age and death benefits do not matter. So you can see it right here. You can see this grayed out. Age and death benefit do not matter, right? Now, I know there's a few analyticals on my call, and I cannot move forward without explaining age and death benefit, or you're not going to grasp anything else. So let's walk through it, and we'll walk through it quickly. So let's make believe that we have three individuals, 20, 40, and a 60-year-old. And now they have $20. They have $20 in their pocket, and they're going to go walk into a grocery store. With that $20, my 20, 40, and 60-year-old, who is going to be able to buy the most amount of groceries? All of them, right? It just makes sense, all of them. Because it doesn't matter how good you look, how bad you smell, the color of your skin, the language that you speak, that $20 is going to buy you the same amount of groceries. Now, let's walk across the street. Age 20, 40, and 60, all in same equal health. We walk across the street to the life insurance store. We walk in there. Who out of those three individuals is going to be able to buy the most amount of death benefit with their $20? The younger one, right? It just makes sense. The younger one is going to be able to buy the most amount of death benefit compared to the 60-year-old. It just makes sense, right? But however, I'm not here to talk to you about death benefits. I'm here to talk to you about the cash that's sitting inside of your policy. And just like as my late mentor, Nelson Nash, God bless his heart, he passed away March 27th of 2019. I remember he would always say this. He would say, as long as I can solve your need for finance and cash while you're living, you'll have enough death benefit to leave to your family and heirs when you're not here anymore. Our need for finance and cash is so much greater than that need for death benefit. So I really want to drive this one home as well, because y'all are going to sit here on this call and you're going to say, wow, Hannah, that was some pretty powerful information, but I'm just too old. I'm too old to do this. No, you're not. No, you're not. Age only affects the death benefit. It does not affect the cash inside of the policy. I really want to drive that one home. So now let's move forward. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about using our policies to buy a car. So in this example, this individual, he's putting in $10,000 a year into his whole life policy, his banking policy, right? Now, I am never going to tell you how much premium to put into your policy. The premium you want to put in is what you tell me you want to put in. If 10,000 is too large to swallow, drop off a zero, do 1,000. If 10,000 is too easy, add a zero, do 100,000. I don't care. You pick the premium that you put inside of your policy. So in this example, he's putting in 10,000 a year over the course of the 7 years. And then after year 7, he stops making his premium. Now, in real life, I would never have you stop making your premium. And you'll understand this as time goes on and we go through this more and more. But each and every time when I make my premium deposits inside of the policy, my cash just gets greater and greater as time goes on. So you'll understand why you never want to stop capitalizing your banking system. But again, I just do this for education purposes. I just kind of want you to get the concept of what's going on. So in this example, he's putting in 10,000 a year over the course of the 7 years. Now, in year four, he's going to take out 25,000 to go buy that car, right? Now, I would never have you wait till year 4 to use the cash that's inside of the policy. Because reminder, look right here. When he puts in year 1, when he puts in his 10,000, he has immediate cash value access right here. And my definition of immediately is within 30 days. Within 30 days, when I go put that money in, I have cash value access to that money. Again, just doing this for education purposes. So in year 4 of his policy, he's going to take out a loan for 25,000 and he's going to go buy that car and he's going to go pay cash for that car. Where did he get this 25,000? He got it directly from the cash value that's sitting inside of his policy. He takes out that loan and he gives it to the car salesman. The car salesman gives him the car. He gives them the money. Everybody walks away. Now, when you borrow from your banking system, do you think it's a good idea to pay yourself back and pay yourself back with interest? Absolutely, right? Pay yourself back and pay yourself back with interest, just like how you would promise to a conventional bank. Treat your money just like you treat the conventional bank's money. Because honestly, if you don't, all you're saying is that your money is not as valuable as the banker's money. And that's just simply not the truth. So play that honest banker with yourself. Pay yourself back and pay yourself back with interest, just like how you would if you were to go take that 25,000 and go get a loan from the conventional bank. Be disciplined with yourself. So in this example, when he's paying himself back, he's going to pay himself back $500 a month or $6,000 a year over the course of the 5 years. So $500 a month or $6,000 a year, he has just paid himself back $30,000. He paid himself back $25,000 in principal and another $5,000 in interest, right? Let's see what happened. Let's walk through what happened from year 1 to year 8. So from year 1 to year 8, he has put 70,000 inside of his policy. Put in 70,000 plus he put in an additional 30,000 for a total of 100. But he took out 25,000 to go take that car, right? To go buy that car. So his true total net injection is $75,000. Where are we sitting here in year 8? In year 8 of the policy, he's got $73,226. $73,226 sitting inside the policy. If you take that $73,226 and divide it into that $75,000, you just got back 91 cents for every dollar that you just purchased with that new car, right? Again, I don't care how old you are. Do you have 90 cents back for every dollar you went out and purchased for that car? Probably not, right? Let's take it further. Let's keep going. Let's say that I was driving for the last 8 years and my boyfriend was out there walking for the last 8 years. So now it's his turn to go buy this car. So in year 9, we're in the market to go buy a car again. We're going to go and we want to go buy another $25,000 car. Where am I getting this $25,000 from? I'm pulling it right here from the cash value that's sitting inside of my banking policy, right? Pulling it right from here. I take the 25,000 out. I'm not making any more premium deposits, right? No more premium deposits. I take out that 25,000. I go give it to the car salesman. He gives me the car. Everybody walks away. Rinse and repeat, right? If I borrow from my banking system, I should pay myself back and pay myself back with interest. I'm paying myself back $500 a month or $6,000 a year over the course of those 10 years. So I paid myself back a total of $30,000 from year 9 to year 13. I put in a total of $30,000. That's my true net injection. However, keep in mind, I took out $25,000 to go buy that car, right? So I put in 30, I took out 25. So my true total net injection is 5,000. What's going on? In year 13 of the policy, I have 95,797 sitting in my policy as cash value that I can take right out if I want to go use with it. Hannah, are you telling me from year 8 to year 13, I put in a total of 5,000 as my net injection and my cash just grew from 73 to 95,000? That's a $22,000 growth with a $5,000 net injection. Is that cool or cool, y'all? What's going on? Here's for my analyticals in the room. What's going on? Inside of the policy, we earn uninterrupted compounding interest. Albert Einstein says this. Albert Einstein says a compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it earn it, and those who don't pay it. What are we doing right now? What have y'all been doing for the last 2 decades, 3 decades plus of your life, right? Y'all have been paying the compound interest. What's going on right here? You're earning that compound interest now. Because look, when you went in and you bought these 2 cars, 25 here and 25 here, you never interrupted the growth on the cash inside of the policy. When you went in and took out this loan of the 25,000, all of that cash was still sitting inside of your policy, compounding and growing for you. At the same time, you're able to use this money to go buy the cars that you need in life anyways. That's why I personally do this. This is so again, this is exactly how I'm using my policies to pay off my conversion van that I got right now. Same exact steps. Instead of my premium being 10,000, I just have a 40,000 a year premium. Instead of my car purchase being 25,000, my car purchase was 120,000. They're just larger numbers, right? But the concept and the flow of the money is exactly the same. Let's go back a second. Let's do a high overview of what's going on from year 1 to year 13. From year 1 to year 13, let's look at this. You put in your 70,000 of your premium deposits into the policy, plus you paid yourself back for that first car transaction, 30,000. So 70 plus 30 equals 100. Plus, you put back an additional 30 for the second car purchase that you did. So 130 right here, right? 130. But you took out 25,000 in year 4 for car 1 and 25,000 in year 9 for car 2. So you put in 130 and you took out 50. You put in 130, took out 50. 130 minus 50 equals 80,000. My true total net injection was 80,000. But here I am sitting here in the policy in year 13, and I have 95,000 sitting inside of my policy. So Hannah, really, it didn't cost me anything to buy, drive, and own these cars. Actually, I made a little bit of money, did I not? Absolutely. But I can't sit here and tell you that these cars cost you nothing to buy, drive, and own, because you had to start this policy. You had to start the process. Because look right here in this example, when he put in his $10,000, he only had access to $5,800 of it, right? But again, are you guys in this for the short term or the long term? Y'all tell me y'all tell me long term, but you tend to get hung up in short term thinking. So this is what I mean. This is the lifestyle change. This is the additional step that we're adding, is who is getting that money first. Because how I utilize my policies, look right here. Rule number 1, pay yourself first. What I mean by that is when you get money in, I don't care who you are. I know how you use your money. When you get money in, you pay everybody else first. The car people, the house people, the piano lessons for Susie, the Bobby soccer practice, right? You pay everybody else first, and you hope that there's some left over for you. Stop it. Treat yourself as your number 1 asset. Pay yourself first. And that's where these premium deposits come from, paying yourself first. Rule number 2, pay yourself back with interest, right? Just like in the conventional bank. If you borrow from the conventional bank, pay yourself back and pay yourself back with interest. And rule number 3, recycle and recapture all of the money. Let's think about it, y'all. Am I doing anything stupid, ridiculous, or idiotic over here? Nah, man. I just bought a stupid ass life insurance policy and I'm using it for my car purchases, right? And I use the word ass because I know a lot of y'all are sleeping out there, so I'm waking you up just a little bit. I don't know what it is about the word ass, but that kind of wakes you up. So, right? I'm using this policy to just go buy the cars that I was already going to buy in the first place, right? Now I just know a better way to self-finance them. How about this? Let's take it a step deeper. Instead of this being, or actually right here, instead of this being 25,000 and for the car, how about this is a $50,000 car? And instead of paying yourself back 6,000 a year, 500 a month, you're paying yourself back 12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. What would happen to the numbers? They would just get bigger, would they not? They would just get bigger. How about this? Instead of this being a $10,000 premium, this is a $100,000 premium, and this is a $250,000 house. What would happen to the numbers? They would just be greater, would they not? The concept is exactly the same. I'm showing you a car purchase just because we all understand cars. We've bought in cars. We've driven in cars. We've ridden in cars. But cars are not the only thing this works with. We do it a lot in our real estate transactions. When we want to go out by those short-term rentals, those VRBOs, those Airbnbs, right? I do this for my private lending that I'm doing. So you know what I do? Get this, y'all. If I put $10,000 into my policy, and in year 4, I come in here, let's say I give this $25,000 to a borrower for an investment. I give them that $25,000. Now guess who's paying me back? The borrower. The borrower is paying me back this $500 a month or this $6,000 a year, right? I'll do that all day long, y'all. There's no better position to be in than the banker, being the one that's in total control of everything and all of the transactions. So I'll do that all day long. I take money out of my policies and I'll go give them to borrowers at a 10 to 14% interest rate. And I'll do that all day long because I'm making that arbitrage and that spread, right? I am the banker. I am moving my money because money is made in the motion of it. Money is not made just by sitting somewhere, keeping it and having it sit still. I hope I beat this one up. I will take questions. So let's get through this. I will take questions and I can come back here. So 3 rules: pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, recycle and recapture your money. If this works for a car, what else can it work for? Right? So there's 2 other resources here I want to give you. So y'all probably know the name of Robert Kiyosaki, right? Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote this book. It's called Second Chance. And in this book, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this banking concept. But you know what, y'all? I bet you read right over it and you didn't take 1 second glance at it and you said, okay, yep, that's what it is. And you just didn't even look back at it, right? Because this concept has never been explained to you in this way. How about Tony Robbins, Money Master the Game? In this book, Tony Robbins, in chapter 5.4 of his book, he talks about this concept, this infinite banking concept, chapter 5.4. And again, y'all read right through it, didn't think anything of it, and just totally skipped over it. Because again, it wasn't ever explained to you in this way. Like I said, y'all, life is so actually this is a quote by the gentleman by the name of Rick Warren. Rick Warren says, life is like a marathon. It doesn't matter how you start. It only matters how you finish. This is the game of life. That's what we're doing over here. So there's some other resources for you. I know I said at the start of this call, I would be going through the map today. I don't think I'm going to be having time for this. I do just have some other members that I got to make some phone calls to this evening, but I'm going to show you how to go out and watch this recorded. So this right here is the money multiplier map. This is what we create for all of our members. Okay, so this is something that we create. This in particular is designed for debt payoff, but I get it. Not everybody has debt. I don't have debt. My father doesn't have debt. But let me tell you something. Most of the folks that show up at our front door, they got debt because y'all have been in that financial hamster wheel for your whole entire life, right? So we help you clear off that debt first, how to recapture that money and to stop sending it out to those third-party people. So in this example, this is a real life example. It's from a chiropractic colleagues of my dad's, and he walks through the example of using the policy to pay off $470,000 of debt in 6 years. So 5 years, 1 month, they were able to pay off all of this debt. And again, he wasn't working any harder, changing his cash flow, taking any additional risk or losing control. He was just changing who got the money first. And that first pit stop was inside of his banking policy. So in the conventional way, it would have taken him actually about 18 years to pay off all the debt. But with utilizing the policy, he was able to pay it off in 61 months. So I'll show you how you can go back and watch this example. It's pretty powerful and enlightening. And I'll post it up in the chat here in a second. So now, I just kind of want to talk about some real life examples, right? So look right here. Jim Harbrough's the life insurance. So this is an ESPN article that's dated November 16th, 2016. It says cash value life insurance makes Harbrough College football's top paid coach, right? They're paying him for all the games that he's coaching, right? Now I'm not too big into college football, but my dad would always make this one joke, and he says, well, it's great that Michigan State is doing that, because honestly, they should be getting all their money back with how the college is playing in football this year. I don't know too much about football, but he would say that a lot. And how about Disneyland? This is actually my favorite story. Walt Disney wanted to start Disneyland, but after failing in the pursuits of traditional means of financing, Walt decided to provide his own financing. A large part of this came by collaterally borrowing money from his cash value life insurance. The banks didn't want to have anything to do with Walt. They said, Walt, you are crazy. We don't want to help you with this theme park. You just go do your own thing. So Walt had to borrow from his cash value life insurance to fund Walt Disneyland. And who knows, would Disneyland even be here if Walt never had that policy? I don't know. How about Ray Kroc with McDonald's? Ray Kroc partnered with McDonald's brothers and opened its first McDonald's in 1955. Kroc did not take a salary for the first 8 years, and to help with cash flow, he borrowed money from his 2 cash value life insurance policies to help cover salaries of their key employees. He also used some of the money for an advertising campaign as a mascot that we all know the name of as Mr. Ronald McDonald, right? Matter of fact, Ronald McDonald, I haven't seen him around lately. I don't know what he's up to, but I hope he's still around, right? So that's how the Ray Kroc and McDonald brothers, that's how they funded their key employees' salaries in Ronald McDonald. Oh, how about this one, y'all? This is an article that was posted Tuesday, June 24th, 2014. Biden says he has no stocks, bonds, or savings accounts. Biden holds 6 life insurance policies with Mass Mutual, a company we do business with. Biden owns 6 policies with them. Again, is he stupid, or is he doing something the rest of us just don't know about? He's probably doing something, right? How about this one? This one maybe is my favorite story. I don't know. Walt and this one are kind of close, neck and neck to each other. But this one's really cool. So Doris Christopher, she was living in her suburban Chicago home in the 80s, and she started a company. She started the Pampered Chef. And how she started this company is she collaterally borrowed $3,000 from her life insurance policy. She borrowed that $3,000, started Pampered Chef in the 1980s. By 2002, that company had grown into a $700 million operation that then was acquired by Warren Buffett for $1.5 billion. Billion with a B, y'all. Today, that company hosts more than 12 million customers. I think that one's pretty cool. So now, this is just my opinion. Now that you know this, everybody should be doing it. Because if you don't, you're stealing from yourself, your children, your grandchildren, and future generations to come, because you're letting money leave the family. There's better ways out there to do these things and finance the things in life. It's just nobody's out there teaching it like this. And so that's why, hey, I mean, actually, I'm just kind of thinking about it. My mind's going off in the other direction. Y'all got to share this information, share the financial literacy. You know, one thing that kind of ticks me off too about families, when we all get together around the holidays, around Christmas, around Thanksgiving, we all get around the table. Money is kind of a taboo subject, is it not? We don't talk about money. We don't talk about who's making what are you bringing in, what are you buying? Why? Why are we not talking about it? All the wealthy and elite families were out there talking about money and how it was helping in the family. The Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Stanleys, the Barclays, they all understood money and wealth, and they understood how to keep it in the family. Totally different from the Vanderbilts, right? Totally different from what was going on over there. So I don't know. I guess this is just my PSA announcement to start talking about money. You know, my family, we come together once a month and we go through the whole family finances. Dad's totally open with his portfolio of what he's doing, what investments he's making, what's coming in this month, what are we paying out in expenses. We're totally open to it because you know what? Now, me being his daughter, I'm able to take that knowledge, now pass it down to my next generation. So anyways, I normally don't say that, but that's just my PSA for this evening. So there's a guy by the name of Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett says, if poor people would just start doing what rich people do, they wouldn't be poor anymore. How much sense does that make, y'all? Because again, we're not over here reinventing the wheel. All we're doing is we're mimicking and imitating exactly what the elite and the wealthy are doing. Matter of fact, let me bring this up. This might be a controversial topic here, but you remember when people got pissed at Trump? Right? Remember when people got pissed at him because he only paid $750 in taxes that year? What was he doing? I don't know. Maybe he was practicing the infinite banking concept, how to grow his wealth in a tax-free environment and not have to pay tax on all of the growth that was coming out of it. Just a thought, just a thought. So now there's one of two things that's going to happen to us. We're either going to live or we're going to die. I like to use the word graduate, but y'all can use whatever words you want. If we live, are we better off with or without this system? Hopefully you say with, right? And if we die, pass, or graduate, are beneficiaries better off with or without this system? Hopefully you say with, right? Because how much did I even talk about death benefit today on this call? Not a lot, right? Because I'm not here to talk to you about the death benefit. I'm here to show you how you can finance the products and services that you're already buying in life and how you can keep control of that money, how you make the interest on yourself instead of letting the bankers make that interest on you. And policies are exempt from judgments and liens in most states. Absolutely. Let's talk about this. Remember the O.J. Simpson trial? He was found guilty in the criminal trial. No, excuse me. He was found not guilty in the civil trial. Oh, no, I think I'm saying that backwards. He was found guilty in the criminal trial. Whatever it was, but it was against the Goldman family, right? I'm pretty sure it was the civil trial, right? Where he was found guilty in that civil trial against the Goldman family. And what happened? Did the Goldman family ever get any money from OJ? No, they didn't, right? Because what happened? What happened was that OJ had all of his money tied up into his whole life insurance policies. Policies are exempt from judgments and liens in most states. And if your state is not one of them, which there's only a select few, you just assign a collateral assignment to it, and now it is. So we'll help you with that. We'll talk through it. And the internal values grow tax-free. So remember when I was over there talking about the car example and how I buy my cars? All of that growth sitting inside of my policy is tax-free growth to me. So when I'm to the point where I'm taking out more from my policy than what I even put into it, I don't have to report that come tax time, right? Because I've already paid tax on that money. Totally opposite and unconventional to what they've been teaching you up to this point. They tell you, hey, put your pre-tax money into this qualified account, your 401k, and in the future, you'll go paying tax on it later then. No. I'm going to pay tax on it right now, and then I'm going to get that money into an environment where now it's growing for me tax-free. And loans on the policy never have to be paid back, right? What I mean by that is that we are never obligated to pay our policy loans back. So actually, a real life example, there was one week last year where my refrigerator and my microwave went out in the same week. And so what I had to do is I had to resort to that other capital that I was going to be paying myself back, but I had to use that money to go buy myself new appliances. Who cares? I'm in debt to myself. I would rather be in debt to myself rather than somebody else, a third party person who doesn't care about my problems. They don't care if my microwave or refrigerator went out. They don't care if I just had a death in the family. They don't care that I went for 2 weeks out to Aruba to have some good time. They just care if they get their money, right? So loans on the policy never have to be paid back. So, because what's going on is inside of the policy, a loan on the policy is nothing more than a prepayment of the death benefit. It's a prepayment of the death benefit, right? So at the time of your passing, let's make believe that you have a $1 million death benefit and you have 600,000 of outstanding loans. Because I imagine you're that good person. We're teaching you and you're saying, yep, I'm going out there, I'm putting my money to work, and I'm actively using my money to buy myself some cash flow assets. Good. I want you to do that because at the time of your passing, if you have 600,000 of outstanding loans, that $1 million death benefit will roll over, pay for any outstanding loans, and then the remaining portion then would get paid off to your beneficiaries. That's what happens. So loans never have to be paid back on the policy. Now, I know this isn't the only reason we're doing this, but maybe this is one of the reasons why we're doing this.
I want to be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had.
Right? So, okay, I know I kind of got through that and hopefully that was helpful and beneficial to y'all. I'm here. I would say I'm here for the next, I don't know, I can stick around for the next 15 minutes or so if y'all want to chat. And I see here that we got some questions popping into the Q&A. But here, this is my contact info. You got my cell phone number there. Call me, text me. That's my calendar link if you want to book a time and talk on the phone together. And my email is right there. Like I said, if you email me, Hannah at the Money Multiplier, I will email you a copy of the ebook, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. So just send me an email and I'll send it over to you. And like I said, I didn't get through a few things on this call tonight, but if you go to the website, www.themoneymultiplier.com, click on the resources tab and you'll find presentation. And you can go back in and you can watch the full recorded presentation. Or if you scroll down a little bit, it is broken up into individual charts or bite-sized pieces, I should say. So you can watch from there or you can look at the full recorded. But anyways, I'm done. I hope this was beneficial. I'll kind of get into the questions and answers now. All right, so let me look. And I'm kind of flying solo tonight, so just give me a moment. All right, I see Sam in here. Is it Bauer.com? So no, it's BauerFinancial.com. Okay. And when you get to it, can you explain the MEC and what is required to be put into the policy each year? So, all right, well, good. And hi, Miss Stacy. It's good to see you on here. So let's go back. Let me go back and let's look at this. So what Stacy is talking about, so she's kind of touching on what's called the IRS tax code. It's the Section 7702 law. It's the 7702 law. And basically, so what's going on is that inside of these policies, right? These whole life contracts, they're classified as a contract, right? It's a contract between you and the insurance company. But what happens is that back in June or July of '88, The government noticed that a lot of these elite and wealthy individuals were dumping in a boatload of money inside of these whole life policies. Because I mean, right? Think about it. Oh my gosh, I can put all of my wealth inside of this policy. It grows for me tax free. I can still leverage it to go take out money to go do XYZ business with. And the government's completely out of my hair. I want all of my money growing at this rate, right? So Uncle Sam kind of started to catch on to that. And so then that's why he created this MEC law. So MEC, it stands for Modified Endowment Contract. And I'll type it in the chat. Modified Endowment Contract. All right. And that word will become more and more familiar as you kind of get in through this. So with the MEC, each individual policy has this imaginary MEC line. So what this means is that when you set that premium, in this example, $10,000, that is your set premium. We cannot increase this premium in this existing contract. So what I mean by that is that let's say you come to me and you say, Hannah, this is working great, phenomenal. I had a great year at work. I got an extra $10,000 I want to contribute to my banking policy. So instead of this $10,000 here in year 2, I want to put in $20,000 inside of my policy. I say, great. We can do that. Just hold on real quick. Let's go make sure that your contract can hold that extra $10,000. Because basically what I'm going back and asking is that if this contract can hold this extra money without causing MEC status, modified endowment contract, MEC status. What I mean by that is that if we go in and we overstuff or overfund these policies, and I just go right in and put that $20,000 in, my contract may overflow and it may overfund itself. And now my contract will no longer be treated as a contract anymore. It's now going to be treated as an investment and thus subject to tax consequences. All right. So it all just has to do with taxes. So let me read this again, Stacy. So when you get to it, can you explain the MEC and what is required to be put into the policy each year? So yeah, so the MEC is basically saying that you don't want to go over this imaginary line that's throughout all policy contracts, because then we're going to be subject to tax consequences. However, you don't need to be concerned about, Stacy, I know you got your policy. You don't have to be concerned about that, because your policy is already built to accommodate that. I'm just using a random number, $10,000 each and every year into the policy. And a matter of fact, on top of that, another tidbit for you, the MEC limit is a moving target. So each and every year we have this policy, that MEC limit gets higher and higher. So that's the MEC. My advice to you, Stacy, is that if you ever have some extra dollars that you want to throw into the policy, contact your mapping specialist. Say, hey, Robbie, hey, Jerome, hey, Jonah, I got this extra money. I want to get it into my policy. What's the best way to do so? Can you help me? And they'll take it from there. So I answered that question. Stacy, I'll go quickly through your next one. What is required to be put into the policy each year? I won't dive too deep into this on this call right now, but Stacy, it's your base premium. Your base premium is the only requirement to keep this policy alive and active. Since I'm thinking about it, let's just maybe talk about it just a little bit. So what I'm talking about is that when I'm talking about this $10,000 annual premium right here, how we're building this policy is it's built up into two parts. There's a base premium and there's a paid up additions rider. So what that means is that a fraction of your premium is being contributed to the base, and a fraction of it is being contributed to the paid up additions rider. So the only thing that's required to keep this policy alive and active is that base premium. I won't go too deep into it more or further, but here, while I'm thinking about it, let me paste on here my video resource that I have. I do have a video content out there on how we design policies. And while I'm pulling it up, honestly, y'all, if you aren't already, y'all need to go out there on our Facebook, on our YouTube, and go follow Chris Noggle and the Money Multiplier, because they're always making those resource videos for you. All right. What bank? I want to set up my tent there. Kevin, that's good. That's good. All right. And then do we have to qualify medically? So Sam, absolutely. So these, at the end of the day, these are whole life policies. So what that means is at the end of the day, we are applying for a whole life insurance policy. So we do have to qualify medically on that side for the policy, right? So if I have somebody, like I got a doctor who he's uninsurable. I got somebody else who just had breast cancer 2 years ago. She's not going to be able to get a policy, right? Just because of the medical side of it. But you know what they're doing? She is putting that policy on her husband. Her husband is the insured body on that policy, and she is the owner of that policy. Thus, her being the owner, she's 100% control of that policy and is responsible for making the premiums, and loans are made payable to the owner. So even if you're not insurable, you can still do this. Just find another body to put that policy on. Okay. So, but let's talk about it, so come back to me if you got questions on it. Cause, honestly, that's what I do all day long, y'all, is I'm on the back end. I'm always doing the underwriting process and helping our application team. So I know a lot about underwriting. If you want to talk about stuff like that, just shoot me an email and we can talk about it. It is my understanding that the insurance company charges 5% interest on a loan. So if you want to pay yourself back and pay 6% interest, that money will go towards the MEC. Absolutely, Carol. Absolutely. So what she's talking about. So, right, when you take out, let's see in this example, let's go back up to my cars real quick. So if you were to take out $10,000, well, let's say in year 2, if you were to take out $10,000, or excuse me, let's start that over. So let's say that your cash value right here, if it's all right with y'all, let's just round this up and let's say 12. So this is $12,000 that's sitting inside of your policy. You take out that 12,000 and you go do X, Y, and Z business with it, whatever it is. Now you're paying yourself back. Let's say you pay yourself back $300 a month, just making up numbers here. So you're paying yourself back that $300 a month. Or maybe I should say this. When you take out that 12,000, let's say that you want to pay yourself back 14,000. You take out 12 and you want to pay yourself back 14. So absolutely, Carol, when I'm paying back that extra $2,000, I am contributing to my MEC limit, right? So, and again, for my newbies on this call, this is a little bit more advanced stuff. So don't be shied away by this, but just to answer Carol's question here. So if I take out that 12,000 and then I go pay back 14,000, I've just given the policy an extra $2,000. So everything that I pay back into the policy that's over what I've taken out, that does contribute to my MEC limit. Okay. So I hope I answered what you were looking for. So now let's talk about Damon. So your argument is that cash value life insurance is the death benefit paid in advance. Absolutely. So that's nothing that's nothing more than what it is, right? It's kind of nothing more than just like the equity and sitting inside of your house, right? I mean, that's kind of how I think about it. If y'all are kind of in the insurance world to kind of understand a little bit about it, like there's term life insurance out there, and then there's whole life insurance out there. Well, I kind of compare it to the real estate world, right? Where Term insurance is the same thing as like renting a house. You're renting it. You're renting that insurance. We're like in a whole life policy, you're buying that house. You're buying that house and you're building up the equity inside of that house. So same thing over here, right? I mean, you're just building up the equity inside of the policy, and it's nothing more than just borrowing from the death benefit on the policy. All right, if you don't pay back the loan, does that money still grow in the policy? Yes, I'm so glad you brought this up, Leah. This is probably my favorite question of the evening. Absolutely. This is 100% of why I do this personally. Let's talk about this, right? When you go pay cash for something, whether it be a car, a bicycle, pack of chewing gum, whatever you're doing, you go take this $20, you go give it to the grocery store people, right? This $20 was sitting inside of your bank account, earning you interest. Let's call it 1%, right? The 1%, that's what our banks are paying us right now, hopefully, right? Fingers crossed. I know some of them aren't. So you're making 1% at your local bank. When you go take your $20 and go buy your groceries, you have just given up the opportunity cost on that money because it was sitting in your pocket, in your bank, earning you 1%. And now you've just given up that money to go buy the groceries that you want to go buy. So you've just lost what's called the opportunity cost on that dollar, right? So how do I buy my cars or buy my groceries, right? I will put my money inside of the policy. Step number one, right? This is my pit stop. My first step when I get money in, it goes straight to my policy first. That is rule number one, that additional step. So when I get money in, it goes to the policy. From the policy, I take out that money. Let's call it $20,000. I take that $20,000 and I go give it to the car salesman person. That car salesman person has his $20,000. But you know what the cool thing is? Me sitting over here, I've never lost the interest that's earned on my $20,000 that's sitting inside of my policy. I kind of sum it up in easy terms and think about it as double dipping on my money, right? Because I mean, my money is sitting and growing inside of my policy. At the same time, I'm able to leverage it to go buy the product or service or go do the investment I want to do. I'm making money over here and I'm making money over here. I'm double dipping, and thus I'm never losing the opportunity cost on my dollar right now. So absolutely. I mean, that's my favorite part about all of this. It's just like how I said earlier. It's just what Albert Einstein says. Compounding interest, those who understand it earn it. So now that we're understanding this stuff, let's start earning it. All right. And how many policies can one person open? Yeah, no, good question. Honestly, it's not the number of policies that one person can open. It's actually the amount of death benefit that somebody has on their body. So what I mean by that is like me, myself, I own 3 policies on my body, and I actually own 1 policy on one of my best girlfriends. I don't know why, she was a body and I wanted to use her. So you can absolutely have more than 1 policy on your body. My dad even owns policies on my body that I'm not even touching or using because he's the owner of them. He has 100% control over those policies. So absolutely, you can have more than 1 policy on one body. And can I explain a dump in to start the policy? Absolutely. I do have a podcast out there. So that's kind of what I do. I record podcasts for the Money Multiplier. So if you go out there, the Money Multiplier podcast, well, I go on there and I'll talk, and it's usually Dad and myself or Jonah and I, just other teammates on the team over here, and we'll talk. So I got a podcast I can link you to. And so what is a dump in? So Jeremy, I hope I'm saying that right. Jeremy is asking, what is a dump in to start the policy? So a lot of my real estate investors, they like to do dump ins, Or I might have somebody who who has like a large savings account that's sitting on the side, not doing anything besides earning them less than 1%. So what they'll do is they'll do a dump in into their policy. What I mean by that is somebody will come to me and they'll say, Hannah, I got 200,000 right now, but I know I cannot keep making 200,000 into my policies each and every year. But I feel comfortable with doing 20,000 a year premium. So we'll build this policy with 200,000 going in the first year, and then year 2 and so on, they'll have their 20,000 ongoing premiums, whatever they chose that they're comfortable with. Because remember, I told you, you're going to tell me the premium you want to start. I'm never going to tell you what to start with. So you come to me and tell me what you want to do. So this dump in, it really does kind of jumpstart the policy. Basically, you're just dumping in these extra funds into the policy that jumpstarts the compounding. And really, when you put money inside of that dump in, you have immediate cash value access to it. I tell you conservatively 90% of it within 30 days. So if I do $100,000 dump in, within 30 days, I have 90,000 immediately right off the bat that I can take out and start using. So again, a lot of my real estate investors like that because they understand the importance of funneling their money through the policy first, but they need it out right away because they have this next real estate transaction that they got to go do. So I hope that helped. Please call me, text me. You can see my information up there on the screen. And I hope that helps. And okay, and David said, and this will probably be my last question before I have to hop off, y'all. But Hannah, so I have 20,000 whole life insurance policy right now, which he's paying $60 a month on. I've had it explained to me 7 months ago that I would like to wait 4 years before I can start borrowing against it. What is a good way that I can pass the time when I have 4 creditors mad at me? Oof, Damon, book a call with me. I guess my question is that, yeah, I understand you got a 20,000 and you're probably talking about death benefit policy that you're paying $60 a month on, but it's probably just the generic whole life policies because that's absolutely right. If you don't design them the way that we are designing them over here, you got to wait 3 to 4 years before you even have any cash in there to start taking out. And on top of that, what kind of vehicle is it? Is it an IUL? Is it a VUL? Well, actually, you told me in the comment it is a whole life, so I would assume it's a whole life. So hey, so Damon, talk to me about that. I want to talk further on that to see it to help you. But I mean, what's the best way to get rid of those 4 creditors that are mad at you in the meantime? I mean, poof. Yeah, I guess I would want more of a financial picture before I dive into that with you. So if it's okay, let's put a pin in that one. And here let's just do these last few 3 right here, and then we're going to call it a day here. What are some of the advantages for a person who's older and doesn't have any debt? Can you use this for retirement? Yes, I have some retirement videos. Please reach out to me. I got a boatload of resources of how to use policies for retirement purposes. So reach out to me, send me an email, Teresa. And because actually this is going to be my retirement plan. I don't got any of those IRAs, 401ks, those qualified plans. I'm using my policies for retirement and supplementing my income. So, all right, Linda said, I'm 60 years old, but the cost of insurance will be high. Can I have a policy on my 23-year-old son? Absolutely. You can put the policy on your son. Let's talk more about it. What insurance companies do you utilize for this policy? And actually, Monica, yes, this is different. This is not IULs, or what she's saying is index universal lives. These are not index universal lives. These are whole life policies. And again, Monica, I got a boatload of resources to send you. The difference between infinite banking and the difference between IUL. Here, I got it right here. In Nelson's book, he talks about his thoughts on IULs. Oh goodness, it's right here. Anyways, but in this book, Nelson does talk about his thoughts of IULs and why we're not using them for this concept. Because absolutely, I don't, just a high level view, Monica, I don't want my dollars to be in an environment where it's going to be fluctuating based on external factors. We're over here creating a banking system. I like the boring sound security of what my banking policies are doing each and every year. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the world, what the markets are doing, etc. So I do have this page. This is Nelson's thoughts on IULs. It's on page 39 of his book. I do have this saved as a PDF. So reach out to me and I can send you some resources on IUL versus IBC. But Monica, you asked, what are the companies that we utilize? We write with 5 different insurance companies. And the reason we have the different 5 is just because, you know, everybody's different. Maybe somebody's got some health concerns going on. Maybe somebody's older versus you. Maybe I have different goals versus what you have right now. So there's just different companies for each individual's needs. And that's why you're working with us. Because I mean, honestly, I call us the cardiologists in infinite banking. When you got heart problems, you're not just going to go to your primary practitioner. You're going to go to your specialist, that cardiologist for your heart, right? So we're the cardiologists in infinite banking. So the insurance companies that we use Mass Mutual, which everybody knows the name of, Mass Mutual, Penn Mutual, PENN, Penn Mutual, Security Life of New York, One America, they're also known as American United Life, and Lafayette Life, they're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. So those are the 5 different companies that we work with. All right, can you borrow more than what you have in your policy? No, James, you can only borrow up to the amount that your cash value is allowed inside of the policy. Okay. Hey, Kevin, so I just got to go right now. I got to make a few calls this evening and I still got to eat dinner and feed my kitty cat this evening. So if it's all right with y'all, we'll put a pin in this conversation. Reach out to me, send me your questions. I will be happy to answer them. So I appreciate you being on. Hey, if you feel like there is somebody out there who should have this powerful information, Stephen Nagy is out here doing this every single week. He meets right here at this same meeting time, the same meeting link, and send it around, y'all. So he meets 6 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesdays. We'll go from 6 to 7:30 each and every night, and we'll just talk banking. We're here to help answer your questions. So thanks for spending the time with me. We'll talk with you soon.